Flying cars, self-driving cars, robots, non-human employees. These are just some of the attractions at the TechCrunch Disrupt conference, or DorkFest 2024. I mean this lovingly, I'm including myself, of course, which I attended last week. I would argue though, the DorkFest, the TechCrunch conference, gives some real clues into where AI is headed. We'll cover all that and more on this episode of AI Curious. My name is Jeff Wilser, and I'm here to give you a quick, snack-sized edition of the week's AI highlights, which includes new treats and goodies from ChatGPT. So, our main story, the Dorkapalooza held in San Francisco, or the belly of the AI beast. Now, this conference, nominally, is just a tech conference. It's not focused on AI. But virtually 99% of the companies there were somehow AI related. At one point, I met a woman who had a startup. I asked her how AI was involved, and she said proudly, "It's not at all." And we high-fived. It was that rare. That was how ubiquitous the AI was. Which begs the question, is this just hype or is it real? Does this have legs? Well, that's more complicated. The first thing I'll say is there is a ton of overlap for many of the projects. There are hundreds and hundreds of booths and startups there. I met many startups working on very similar things. AI agents, AI platforms, AI infrastructure. And that's not even counting the Goliaths in the space, the OpenAIs, Anthropics, DeepMinds of the world, that are also working on basically the same thing. It's a very crowded space, and they're all vying for attention and capital. Now, to some extent, this is probably healthy. I'm a bit old school, and I do believe that competition in the end will yield better results. But it also means there will likely be a ton of consolidation in the space, and many of these startups that I met will not be around for DorkFest 2027 or even DorkFest 2025. But on a brighter note, it's also true that there is, I would argue, way more range in AI startups than you might guess. Companies that take text and convert it to a song or a video or a flying elephant, basically generative AI, these are the shiny objects, and that's what's getting most of the media attention. But then there's what's happening under the hood of AI, the infrastructure play, if you will. Companies building platforms, tools, and systems that will let others create the shiny objects you will want to use. Or another way of saying it is the pick and shovels play in the investment speak. Now, this is just a ballpark estimate, but I saw about as many infrastructure plays as I did shiny objects. And I think this too is healthy. My prediction is it's these companies that could help propel the next wave of innovation and wacky new use cases we can't yet even envision. Now, I also want to stress just how wild the volume is in the space. Here's one tiny personal anecdote to bring it home. In the week before the conference, I got pitched by over 60 AI companies or PR for AI companies, literally over 60s, and most of them wanted to, quote, meet for coffee during the conference. If I had said yes to each and every one of these coffee meetings and had a coffee at each one, I am pretty sure I would have a heart attack and I would be dead. So that's just to give you a sense of the scale and the energy. At the very least, the hype machine is nowhere close to dying down, and there is a ton of capital and projects and startups going full steam ahead. So that's it for my report from the trenches in the DorkFest at TechCrunch Disrupt. On to our next segments, 3 quick things. Quick thing number 1, OpenAI launched ChatGPT with search, giving it real-time web access. Now, on an obvious level, this means that it's now in direct competition with both Perplexity, AI search, and even Google. But it also seems to be a work in progress. As Professor Ethan Mollock tweeted, it also still hallucinates. When I ask a question that I know something about, I get different answers every time with varying quality. Citations are a weak point, unquote. after some early tinkering myself, I find it really useful, and I could potentially see myself using this as a default search. We're not there yet, but it is easy to imagine that world. I will say this though, this is my own personal experience. When I experimented in the last few months using ChatGPT by itself, or occasionally when it could go out there and find things in the more advanced, pro model, I found the results were actually better when did not internet search. And this is just my personal take, but after doing lots and lots of experimentation and asking it for research and kind of early research for articles and doing reporting, it seems like when it was not using the web search, it would do a good job synthesizing all of the knowledge and data it kind of hoovered up across all the websites and all the books, all of its knowledge, and then give you an answer. When you asked it to search, it seemed like it was going to one website and one web page and then getting a more narrow answer based on the one website it found. Now it remains to be seen whether this new ChatGPT with search better fuses ChatGPT's normal, quote unquote, normal ability to synthesize with web search, or if it's overly narrow. Still TBD, I will report back. Quick thing number 2. It's very possible this will not age well at all, as I'm posting this episode on Monday, November 4th, the day before the US election. But I do think it's notable and worth pointing out that as of now, knock on wood, we have not seen a crazy scandal of deepfakes and AI-fueled misinformation. Yes, sure, there have been some random things here and there, like the fake Taylor Swift for Trump images or photos of Trump saving kittens, but there's been no October surprise of a deepfake video that really moved the needle. Now, I predicted that would happen. I am delighted to be wrong. It is possible that we have all, as a society, we're already so numb and desensitized to fake photos, misinformation. Maybe we already have some resiliency baked in. It's also possible in the next 24 hours, there is some crazy deepfake scandal. And again, this post will age extremely poorly. And finally, quick thing number 3. Time Magazine released its annual package of best inventions of the year, and what's inside this magazine can give some insights as to how the wider world is thinking about AI. And as it happens, I can now do some first-person reporting here because of this magazine, 34 of the entries in Time's best invention package were written by me. And I wrote about a ton of AI projects for Time. I spoke to many experts and inventors and CEOs in this AI space. And the takeaway, yes, it is true that AI has a hype problem, no question. But it's also true that AI is driving some very real solutions to very real problems. Just a few of the inventions that I researched for Time. The company Abridged is using AI to help doctors dramatically slash paperwork. And that's super important as we have a real burnout problem in the medical profession. A different company, Farmerline, is using AI to give small farmers, predominantly in Africa, immediate solutions to their problems. Others have used AI to speed up the time it takes to get treated for pancreatic cancer, or to customize a treatment for prostate cancer, or even to help people who are paralyzed walk again. This is happening. This is not science fiction. People who are paralyzed are literally walking again thanks to breakthroughs in part from AI. Honestly, it was downright inspiring to speak to the inventors, innovators, and dreamers who are building something smarter, something better, and often these inventions involve AI. On that note, that's it for this episode of AI Curious. If it's your first time here, please subscribe, like it, rate it 5 stars, comment, all that good stuff. Thanks again, and see you next time.